You know, we all have room right there. We're not doing it, yeah. So really need to go to.
Well, that is.
Welcome to Emergency Preparedness. Appreciate you coming. And, okay, so Gina, does it look like we have a quorum?
Well, I probably should go ahead and ask if all of everybody's here.
I guess we did, we're all here, thank you so much for coming.
Do you want me to go ahead and call roll?
We understand, Jeff, it's Monday.
Do we need to call the roll? Okay, let's call the roll.
Okay, member Wolf Fibus. Here. Member Mayor Short.
Yes.
And member Karen Drake and Chair King. And member Randy Collins. Okay, so we do have four.
Okay, thank you so much. So as far as number 2, consent agenda, have you guys read the minutes and do you have any questions or thoughts about that?
I thought the minutes were excellent.
Yes.
Yeah, good job, Gina. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll
Okay, thank you. And any questions about it? I've already asked that. Show of hands to approve. Okay, it passes. Thank you so much. Okay, so Gina, I asked you to pick up some supplies for us. Did you have your money? Thank you. So this is all the quest to get supplies, you know, it's a big job. Okay, thank you. Just wanna, so this is like a little medical kit. Thought that was, you know, pretty cool instead of going out and, you know, getting a million things. These are journals that we're gonna have in each cache for the cache commander or captain or whatever we call him, have. And then I have been talking to Kim and Gina about having, life-saving information. I thought maybe a book or something. They suggested this, which is a great idea.
Oh, those
Have
are
us in mind.
nice. Where'd you find that?
Gina found them online. And so
Really?
this is
Good
look
job.
at that.
That's beautiful.
That's a really nice one.
Yeah.
You're gonna pass it down.
Those are great.
Why don't you, yeah. Maybe you can look at this and then
You
you
just
can.
don't really realize how you save lives finding that.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gina, I appreciate it.
Thank you. This is
Probably easier
now
to do one.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what people would be reaching for and be able
You
to.
know, the clipboard you can open up and.
That's right. And so we talked about having clipboards in each of the
Oh,
caches
those are
and stuff, yeah.
nice.
And having, I think, pens and things like that, so we.
Well, these are nice. Is that kind of what Randy has over there? Kind of?
Similar, yeah, very similar.
Oh, that's so cool.
Okay,
These are so handy.
I know. Gina, do you remember what website you went to find this?
Those are ones, so the medical bags were Kim's, responsibility, so I don't know which
You don't know where
website.
she got them?
Yeah, those ones I believe are Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then if you recall, these were intended so that we have official log book style
Mhm.
things,
Yeah.
which were not the 3-hole punch and
Well,
such,
see,
so that
but,
it
you know, so
stays
I think you brought,
together.
I think you brought that up, because I just thought a notebook would be good, and as you said before, Randy, to make sure that, you have, like if someone says the McDonald's is on fire in Lincoln City, which is what I heard, to verify it, you know,
Right.
just to, you know, have a couple of resources for everything, so that's a good. So we talked about,
One question.
mhm,
I would really like to have a copy of this
Mhm.
for my personal, just edification to have, because I haven't done a CPR class in years, 10 years or more.
We've changed it.
Have they?
Yeah.
You don't bang on me anymore?
No, it's just, but you just, it's
And you
actually
don't do the
easier.
breaths
Yeah,
as much. and all
yeah.
those
But,
things.
so is that okay?
It's all about, it's all
After
about
the meeting?
impressions.
Yeah,
Just so you can be clear on
Amazon.
airway.
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
It's all about impressions, it's not about
yeah, but I
You
thought
want
that was
that
a great
airway,
idea.
it's about to keep it, the impressions
I
running.
went to Robert's bookstore and had a couple of first aid books, you know, they're used books, and
Yeah.
Kim and Judas, well, she's kind of something like this, which is really
Yeah.
much better. This is quick and easy,
Yeah,
so I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
So now my family's getting first aid books, used first aid books for Christmas.
Oh, that's a great idea.
You know, they both can use it. Okay, so we talked about a memo to go out to city council about transferring funds from the, since we're not working with the Bowen property, have the $90,000 transferred over to just our committee. And that was, they were not receptive to it. And so we tabled it and we can readdress it. I rewrote the memo with a little bit more detail, more information, what have you. My thought is that I don't see that we have an urgency to do it, maybe the first of the year or something. Because right now we have a lot of money we haven't spent in our emergency preparedness fund. We really haven't done anything. We're gonna ask them for another $90,000 to go into our fund. So my thought is let's get some things that we're trying to do, and I wrote our plans up here, which will cost them some sort of money, before we go to city council again, because they may say, well, you have $70,000 left in your account, why do you need an additional? Because I really don't know about, where our next cash is going to be. I'm not really sure. Or did you have a
Weren't we
comment?
gonna really start and try and pursue Stonebridge?
That's right, that was actually my question.
Yeah.
Yeah, is the money already, do we already have the money to get Stonebridge going?
Well, we have like $70,000 in our,
That's for supplies.
that's not really, but yet, I don't think Stonebridge is finalized. Is it? I mean,
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Kim was gonna write up
Uh-huh.
some type of a
MOU.
for us.
and I don't know that she's done that or not, but my thought is that we don't have a place right now really
Oh,
to put,
supplies.
More cash.
to put more caches, you know, because Stonebridge is not finalized.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking if I go to city council, I've already written the memo and Kim's approved it, let's just wait until we have a place for all of this to go. We had hoped that we would get our cash, a grant for it to get the cash, but that fell through. And $9,000 to pay for it in cash roughly and a lot of supplies. But right now, I just don't know if it's the right time to do it.
I hear you. The Stonebridge expense is,
The cash itself,
the cash itself,
getting the land
land ready,
and then the fence around it.
there's a fence, right?
And landscaping.
And landscaping, and then the proposal that we've given to Stonebridge.
We haven't yet.
And she has to write it up.
It's a,
I,
MOU.
for some reason, thought we were already getting it.
We were
Well-
waiting to get the grant and that didn't happen, so.
Okay, so that was waiting for when the grant came, but now the reason, okay, so the $90,000 is what was gonna take the place so that we could actually get that going.
So because that's not finalized,
But that's not finalized.
I don't want an additional $90,000.
Exactly, completely hear
And
you.
then have to go again saying, and now this is.
Exactly right,
time.
so the next step for the Stonebridge cash then is to finalize
To
Stonebridge.
finalize it,
Okay.
and if we do nothing else this year but pay for the money to have the landscaping and the fence and the cash in place,
Right.
then we can worry about the
Got
supplies. So that's my thought, but I have the memo all written out, which I just don't think it's the right time to do it. That's all I'm
And then
saying.
we're waiting for Kim to write up the proposal. Got it.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for the work on that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm happy to do it. Okay, okay, let's see. So, Everbridge, Gina, I don't really know much about Everbridge, do you? You know much about it?
Yeah, well, it's the preferred software that Lincoln County
Mhm.
uses for emergency alerts or alerts of other kinds. And I do know that Kim had been working with somebody on the Everbridge, I guess initialization or implementation for Depot Bay. That's kind of her area of expertise. I don't know who she's talking to or what the implementation needs to be or look like, but yeah, that's all I know. But it's the emergency alert that people can get on their cell phones,
Right.
and we can program it specific to Depot Bay's needs. So we need to figure out what those needs are first, so we program it in, and then people can
Okay,
get that on their phone.
because I don't even know how to get it on my telephone.
Oh, well, yeah, it hasn't been rolled out yet, so we're not
For
gonna be
the
able to
Depot
act, yeah.
Bay specific.
But it has to be, yeah, we have to get keywords, so the words have to be like specific to Depot Bay. And then if somebody signed up for Everbridge text alerts, that's when they will get the alerts to the
Okay.
phone. But only if they're signed up through those keywords.
So can we, it's Samantha Buckley is the one that is, so
Yes.
can we have her, is there a way to ask her to see if she can come to our next meeting? Because I think we'll get a lot of resolution about Everbridge if Samantha were here.
Yeah, I think that,
Because she actually
Samantha would be the one, because I think that's who Kim was saying she was working with. I don't know if you have you talked to Sam recently?
Not about this.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
So I think Kim would be probably asking you to come in, and she probably has some information about it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
She actually shared it with you the Bay, because we had a meeting,
Oh.
so that
It
was.
started at
so
3.
I know she's ready to talk about it, so that's why I'm saying, I think if we reached out to her, she could probably really update us on it.
Yeah, I can make a note too, that when Kim comes back, talk to her, find out what she knows, what's the latest.
There's some really nice flyers about it, it's, they're made out, they look like that, and there's really neat.
That's really good.
Yeah, I know that generally it's just kind of in a holding pattern until we're waiting, and that's why I was wondering if it's happened yet.
Right.
I haven't heard anything,
Okay.
if it
I don't
had,
think
Kim
we're up
would
and
announce
done.
it. If it
Yeah,
had,
that's
Kim-
true. So-
And so I assume that she's waiting for updates from Sam on that. If there was any updates, she would for sure.
Well, then when you and I have our meeting, what happens is that we have our meeting and it's all this stuff, and then it talks to Kim, and typically I send a copy of what I'm gonna talk to Gina about, and it goes to Kim. And Kim talks to Gina, gives her input, so we all three of us kind of like
Yeah.
figure out what the next step is and all this type of thing, so we'll do that. Thank you, Gina. All right. Okay, the tsunami evacuation walk, this was, an idea that we had, to be similar to what, the Hatfield people did. And, we thought we would do it here, but then again, I think it was too short of a time period to do anything more than, here you're gonna walk and you're gonna get a badge and a cookie and go home, type of thing. And Karen and I met with, representatives from the Oregon, something, management. Yeah, something, and so they had contacted her about if they ever, we met them in a function, saying that they could always help us with anything we wanted, so we met them. And, both of them were very gracious about it, and he says, well, first of all, don't do it on Veterans Day, because a lot of people here are retired, they won't, because we were talking about doing it on Veterans Day. And they then says, well, why don't you make it a real function, let us come, let us help, we can have pop-up tents, possibly have education, material, talk to people about various things. And so I don't know what that looks like, but I think that would be probably on the board. I've written some things about next things that we can do. But I think that we can do that, but let's just do it better. Let's just not do it spur of the moment.
So I went, And so, thank you for passing the
Yes.
question. So I actually went, and so I think that they did not use Everbridge to alert because this was pretty much a private event. It was all about the people down there on the harbor. It was all about the folks down there at the university setting. And it was all about them, alerting them. So the alert came via their work. And it told them to head up to Safe Haven. And then it was not well attended, but I don't believe that was their expectation. I believe the expectation of this event was to actually just have a drill. I don't think it was, the expectation wasn't the turnout.
Yeah.
I think it was, the expectation was just to be there. They were obviously very private. This is not the city of Newport. This is not, it is not that a committee that's government related at all. They're a private entity. They're a great resource, and they totally love the contacts that Joyce and the mayor have been. I mean, they couldn't speak enough about how great you guys were for being in contact. So they shared what they had. Maybe a dozen people came, I don't know. They walked up, but the reason why the people were walking up to see how long it took them, it would be different during the event because many of them came from the other side of the bridge, and the bridge will not withstand anything that's a 9. And so I think the first thing for us to nail down before we have a drill is to nail down how we notify people. And I believe that is Everbridge. And so I think that totally dovetails into, if we want people to know about an alert system, then as soon as we get them in on the alert system, we have a drill. Because then we are using what we're telling them about, and it becomes that feature. Because I think, as far as we're concerned, we have to decide where we're gonna have them go, where we're gonna say we're gathering. I'm assuming we're saying the end of college, but that's.
We think we know, but it needs to be ironed out.
Right, so you decide where that is, and then wherever that is, then you have those things that you just described, making it an event like that. So I think the first thing is you need to be able to nail down how you're going to alert people of the drill. And right now, we don't have that.
Right. And two, to clarify the where, it might be multiple locations if we really wanna do it right.
Absolutely.
Because we have
That's
the
not a bad idea.
tsunami gathering area in Little Whale Cove. That would be where we, in that community.
Absolutely.
And again, that wouldn't necessarily be limited to just Little Whale Cove people, because it may be closer for them, depending on where they are or whatever. But yeah, I think that we want to keep in mind that it would be good to have it realistically, what would be your closest gathering point? Of course, it's not currently a stay in place, it's not, what do you call it, the overnight kind of gathering
No,
space.
it's
But,
not, it's not a shelter drill. It's actually, it's just an evacuation drill, just to see how that goes, so just to get people to do that. And I think how they're notified is actually probably one of the most important things.
So that was good that you went.
And that would be a great thing then to communicate ahead of time too, to our various HOA groups, so that we can, just say, we're a city of Depoe Bay, we are gonna be all in this together, so let's do this and use our specific areas.
And then that'd be a way that all that's already coordinated, so Michael Dane would be a part of that, how would we do how that's coordinated with him without all those.
Sure. They represented the city during the Great Oregon Shakeout last week, 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago. And they did really well. They represented the city, and he and Eric they have a entry in the log. They logged everything of the event and how they did, and it went well. We didn't do any other participation. It was really busy that day, so Kim and I were kind of wanting to do stuff, but we were relaying info to Michael, and the radio guys did representing us. Good.
At least people are aware of it,
Yeah, right.
It's to be expanded, obviously, but that's good.
But that's right. He could, we'll get a hold of him to help with the.
Exactly right. And so then, since we're really gonna be talking to Samantha about Lincoln alerts, and so then that actually gives the whole thing okay, so we're gonna do this, and so when does this happen, then we'll do the drill within this amount of time, see how that really works, which would be great for Lincoln County to know whether it really works or not. I mean, it just is.
You know, one thing we were talking about, how if when we do it, not if we do it, have really good prices, and we've had some good prices, but we went to one in Lincoln City, we got like, what, NOAA radios?
Yeah.
They were just like
Good
giving
stuff.
them away, and we got, she got some teddy bears for her grandkids, and I mean, she's like really good stuff, you know, that we can give our people that'll be helpful to them, maybe not the teddy bears, but.
I like those weather alert radios, they're a little over $30.
Well, that's what
That's
it was.
They're really handy, because you could locally program in.
Yeah.
Do tsunami alerts,
Yeah.
and tsunami warnings,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they go off a satellite thing with NOAA, that radio, they're really,
yes, so that,
I have 2 or 3 in my house.
yeah, we'll have to figure that out, but anyway, so that was, you know, that's all good information. But since we're on the subject, Karen, do you wanna talk about meeting Marlene and, what was his name, Jeff?
And Jeff, and they were so willing to help
Mhm.
and so resourceful and suggested, like you were saying, to plan things out
Mhm.
and to calendar things. There's
Mhm.
something every month and get the dates down
Mhm.
so we can, prepare and
Mhm.
plan ahead and involve whoever we need to get
Yeah.
involved with.
And Marlene is, the coast is her area.
Yeah.
You know, she's with the state of Oregon, but she works with Seaside and Cannon Beach and all these different people.
She's in
when-
Salem, right?
I
She's somewhere over in.
think Portland, maybe, I don't remember. But, we do have some resources that we can tap into. That's good, all right.
I want to add to that, as we're talking about, once we're to that point, and we have we'll schedule a walk to the perspective thing. I would like us to also actually make a note of having a radio communication check-in.
Mhm.
Oh, excellent.
So we're at the Depoe Bay one, or somebody's over there, okay, at such and such a time,
Not bad.
now we're gonna check in, is, are Mike and Eric available? Can they hear
Like,
us?
connect that in there,
Can we hear each other?
absolutely,
I mean, I think it'd be a great thing to just try it all.
right, right.
I agree with you.
And again, because the biggest challenge we're gonna have is if there's not if there's not the appointed person available for radio communication,
Mhm.
it's that,
Right.
so then what do we do? And it might be a good way to figure that out.
Mhm.
So how does the shops along the 101, like, how do we alert all those people? How are they alert?
We're just gonna yell run.
Yeah, that's good. We run right
Well,
Yeah.
Well, that's part of promoting the Everbridge thing, I
Yeah.
think, to
Yeah.
get everybody to sign up on their phones.
Yeah.
Whether they're employees there or owners there or whatever.
And then
Right.
then those shop owners then would say, they're trained to say, all right, we're having a drill, we all need to, we're locking the doors. I mean, we would need to include our commerce during
Well,
this
not only
event.
that, but what about Walmart?
Huh?
What about Walmart?
That's exactly right, that's what I'm saying, I mean, when we talk about doing this, like, are we gonna do it?
Yeah, I don't know
today?
if we're-
Yeah.
I think it'd be great for a drill to actually give information, to remind folks,
Yeah.
like business owners saying, this is what we would really expect, and in this case, we're doing a drill, at least make a announcement, practice making an announcement,
Sure.
not really close the door
And not
and stuff,
close the doors,
but to
good
at least
point.
have it on their radar to make the announcement, and then at the same time say, now, in the case that this was real, there's not gonna be an alert, there's gonna be an earthquake.
And
And that's the alert,
and we're
and you
we're
got
going
about
to be,
20
right,
minutes.
right,
And so what would you say? You would say, folks,
right,
know,
right.
you wanna head to point A, point B,
Mhm.
Exactly.
and that would be the piece. They
Exactly, so
would
then
need
we
to
would
know
have
where you want them to go.
we have a pretty, so then what I'm hearing you say then in each so I'm picturing title-wise. So there would be okay, so this is alerts happening now, and then there would be some kind of display that then they'd be able to say,
Yeah,
this is, if you happen to be
kinda like what you see in a motel room
That's right.
that has the map of going out of the building, in this
That's right.
case, it would be
and then that
hopefully a
would,
real
that would be
simple
the time
map.
to roll that out as well.
Uphill.
But knowing that it is a work in progress,
Right.
and when we roll that out, it's actually, like you just said, it's a drill, we're giving it a try, we wanna see how it works and we're gonna not be like.
Well, and
And
it
then
doesn't have to be a one-time thing.
That's what I'm saying, that this would be the one, but how
then we
far are we gonna go on the bridge? We're not gonna close down establishments,
Right.
but we are gonna, everybody's gonna know that's what we're having a Depoe base having a drill today, and it would be a thing, and all first responders would know, I mean, everybody would know. That would be the thing, we'd be using, if we're gonna use Everbridge to do the alert, which is what I'm recommending we do, then that means everybody needs to know, the state will know that we're having this day.
Because, you know, I'm on this committee, and I don't know anything about it, so like, well, you know, we should all know about it.
That's right,
And then from us, it goes from there.
that's right, that's right,
Yeah.
yeah, so there's some pub about it.
That sounds good.
So just because, again, I'm not as familiar with Depoe Bay yet, other than my side over here. So if I was in Tidal Rings,
Right,
where would I be directed to go?
you head up to
Nobody knows. Nobody knows, because.
You head up Lillian and you head up to the top where desert.
Okay, so I don't know where Lillian is.
But Lillian's where the new houses are. If you're going north out of town,
Depoe Bay View,
yes, have you been up there?
People Bay Hills.
Last year.
Well, the name has changed, it used to be Hills of Depoe Bay, and it's now, I think, Depoe Bay Hills, I think is what it is.
So that's the kind of thing that would be nice, almost to have a placard, laminated placard that they could put on the wall to remind them, if you're in this space during a tsunami,
This is where
you go here to, and up the road to the north that says Depoe Bay Hills.
So that, so.
Not using street addresses, just the landmarks if there are.
So just
So you- so you-
okay,
So you've been to, like, Fogarty, so if you've been to any of the parks, any of the beaches, there are, I wonder, and obviously that's somebody made, those are really nice, it actually tells you, it says you were right here and this is where this is your
Yeah.
escape route. And so
So,
something like that in designated areas, they actually have those along the route of the thing that they did in Newport. There are nice, that nice
we
signage there.
definitely need to do this, so I'm gonna talk to you more in the next meeting about this, but I met with Cassidy Boyle.
Okay.
In Lincoln City, we met her at that fair. Wonderful information, because as you've seen in the packet, I've talked to Seaside, I've also talked to Cannon Beach, met with Cassidy. This is pretty much what you're talking about,
Right.
They don't have it distributed yet, but they want to take it to, hotels and restaurants and
Right.
things, so this is their city. And they have little dots here where they have, I can't really see it from here,
Right,
but they've designated the 7
Okay.
cache sites.
Yeah.
right,
They have directions, walk this way, you know, to the cache site wherever you are. That is just a wonderful, wonderful information. They have, gathering spaces, you know, for people to go to around the cache areas. They haven't really done a whole lot yet with, alerting the public about what this is, but she'd like to take it to all the restaurants and to all the evacuation centers and things like that. You know, and so I think that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, to have something like that.
Yeah.
The other thing that's valuable with having it in a placard form that's generally focused on just the area of that business is you keep in mind that they're gonna have employees that aren't gonna know anything about this, but yet if they at least have a sign they could read or say, you know, look at that and it says, if there's an earthquake, that's the drill, or that's the warning, you have 20 minutes, here's where you should go. Period, just, you know, with some arrows or pointing to
Yeah.
landmarks if possible.
And pretty much that's what this is,
Right.
and they just,
Yeah.
they just have a legend of what these things mean.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just need to figure out how to do it, you know.
I think it's dependent on kind of where our caches are. And
let's
have they published that document yet? Because again, we're hoping to look for the definition of the islands in the area and stuff to help us kind of focus on those.
Well, the document's gonna come from us, and we.
No, I mean the U of O, the big,
Oh, you're talking about the evacuation route that costs hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah.
But you know, with their research though, you know, talking about all the landfill and landslides and I mean,
Right,
stuff that was never considered.
So Kathy, do you have an update on that? Because that they sent Kim information on, okay, we did all
It's
this
gonna be done in
research.
September.
That's what I heard too, I thought they said it was gonna be disseminated by September, but I haven't seen or heard anything.
I'll check up on it.
Yeah.
They have. So you access Degami maps though, right? When I say that, you know what I'm talking about?
You talking to me?
No, I'm talking
Degami?
about Mr. Degami maps. So there are maps that are available to you right now.
Based on the most current,
Landslide, yes.
oh, it is based on their research,
They're
okay.
they're not on what they did.
Is
That's a private group.
I know, but that
Contracted,
information is all
And they,
inclusive.
and they use the Degami maps that
Okay.
if you go there, you can see what they used in order to make decisions about the
Mhm.
evacuation plan with us.
Yeah.
Those maps are geologic surveys that have been,
Yeah,
so you know those maps I'm talking about.
yes,
So,
yeah,
right, so they didn't update a lot when it comes to landslide, they used the landslide information on that. They didn't update a lot, what they were updating was, the roads that,
okay, I misunderstood that because I thought that they said they did modeling based on those maps as well as their research. And
That's right.
that's where you get the whole islands that were
Right.
developed that basically put it all together.
Because they talked a little about code, like we have your community center as a resource, remember that? And they look for resources and stuff. It seems to me as though Kim talked about it and said that it was very expensive to get the results. Is that correct, Kathy? Do you know?
I don't
You
know.
don't know? Okay, but if you could check with.
Yeah, I
with
got it
Kim,
here.
that would be terrific. Yeah, but you would think that, it's a big to do, we should have some.
Yeah, I don't think that it would cost anybody to get the information as much as I was waiting. I was someplace recently too, in Newport, and they were saying too, they were waiting for the dissemination because of they did these models and stuff that brought all the stuff together,
Mhm.
which gave them much more
that was their job.
practical, and it's the only place they did it in the country, we were the pilot.
Right,
for
we were
that.
also there, right.
So, yeah,
And
so
so
it
they-
would be nice if we,
Nice to figure out.
So all
what
that
they did.
information was the Degamis, and then what we all had to offer. And then, do you remember, we were all sitting around the entities that were there, and so they were just taking all of our information and compiling it into a place.
Mhm.
And then the preliminary report they put out mapped a 16-mile drive.
right,
So you remember seeing all
I
that?
remember saying that.
Okay,
What
okay.
they were working on
They
though
were
was more
supposed to give us
local.
something else.
They were working on localizing that even more so though for Lincoln County and especially the coastal side.
Okay.
So that's what I'm waiting for.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just to jump around a little bit, when I met with Cassidy, I think it was Ann McBride with Seaside told me, I was talking about Degami, and she says, oh, they'll come and talk to you. And I went, yeah, really? Like that, and so I haven't called them yet, and I mentioned that to Cassidy, I said, have you ever had them come out and talk? And she says, oh, they have a local office. And I didn't know that,
No,
so she
no,
gave me
me
a
either.
name to talk to
That's great.
and the phone number to talk to, so we'd love to have them come out. Not only to talk to us, but when we
Council
have,
members too.
well, council members, and then when we have them come out to
Right.
a community event.
Yeah,
But,
cool.
yeah.
Oh, I feel like they're state related, Degami's state, right?
Yeah, I thought it,
Oregon Department of
That's what I thought, that's what
Yeah.
Oregon Department, okay, that's good, I had that in my head, but I wasn't sure if I was wrong.
okay.
And it's networked with the county.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought these people were from the University of Oregon.
Yeah, they were.
The evacuation
Yeah.
people that
People that
came
came
here,
here,
for
Oregon
instance.
State.
Oregon State.
I thought it was
University of Oregon.
I was
Was it?
corrected, it was,
Oh,
it
you
was,
I thought it was
Yeah.
University
Yeah, it
of
was-
Oregon, yeah.
Sorry.
And they're contracted with the county
mhm.
Mhm.
to do this.
Yeah, but you're right, Randy, there's so much stuff that we talk about, and, that's why I wrote that list up on the board and things
Yeah.
like, gee, we've talked a lot about things, so let's just zone in on some of this
Yeah,
stuff,
agreed.
it's just a lot of information. Okay, let's see, are we finished with that conversation? I wanna jump to another one. Okay, so number D, emergency operations improvements, so, they had come to us, as I think many of you know, a year or so ago, asking for, some help trying to get the EOC trailer, better equipped, and so we, got an estimate for carpet and looked like an okay rate. Do you know if it's been accomplished yet, Gina? It has?
Yeah, remember I sent you the estimate?
Yeah, but has it been installed? That was my question.
No, because we, well, remember at first you were looking maybe to get a second opinion, but then I
I
think.
says, okay, Kim seemed to think that was a good price.
Yes, right, and so I think if you think the estimate is
I do.
fine going forward, then we would have to contact them and schedule a date for them to come out and do it.
I'm sorry, I just thought that was done because I said, y'all, okay, go ahead and do it.
Oh,
That's
I
okay.
don't think that, information,
But at
Yeah,
least we have
we
a quote.
Does it require a vote from this
No.
body?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I don't think so.
if
Oh, it is
it's over,
$1,700.
yes,
Okay,
if it's
so-
over 500, I think
Yeah.
she said it would require a
Okay.
motion.
Seems like an awful lot of money for the carpet, a little trailer. That's
Well, I thought so
outrageous.
too, but then I did some research trying to find local contractors that would do it. I thought maybe we'd go to Home Depot. I looked at some discount, places in Corvallis, they're gonna charge $75 for them to even come out and measure it. And so Kim seemed to think that was a fair price, and so I says, okay, that's a fair, let's just do it. So do I hear a motion to approve it, or do you want to go ahead and try to find other sources?
So the Emergency Operations Center is asking
That's
for
the trailer.
trailers. Yeah, so they're asking for,
20-foot trailer and it needs a little strip down the center of it. $1,700?
Well, we can put rugs in it, we can do a lot of stuff, but
That's a lot of food that.
like I said, I've been researching it, I tried to find remnants that we can use, I call them remnants. We would have to find someone to cut it, measure it, cut it, install it. I don't know who's gonna do that.
so who came, so Michael Dane asked for this?
Yeah, he asked for it about a year or so ago.
About,
Yeah, a long
because I
time
didn't
ago,
remember.
and then, one of the things that I looked back to see, gee, we never resolved this. And
Okay,
then
good for you.
better lighting and a couple of other things. So
Is Brady still here? Because he probably seen it.
Brady,
Brady?
Out there
He was here when the rep came to take measurements and.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, he was here to sit for that.
He was here when they went into it.
so I mean, if someone wants to take it on, I've already researched it and I've already found out that you can probably get rugs, you can probably get remnants, so we're gonna have to find somebody to cut it. to
So I can tell you
measure it,
roads are
cut it,
gonna be an
and
issue with Michael.
Install it,
Yeah,
I'm
see.
sorry.
Roads are gonna be an issue with Michael because he can't see.
Mhm.
So it would have to be, I
It would have to
understand.
be installed.
It would have to be installed,
Yeah.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
so,
Mhm.
so,
So Kim thought it was a fair price,
Okay.
Kathy doesn't think so much, but if someone wants to find a better price, I've already looked. If someone wants to do a better job than me,
no.
that's fine. So, if we have to we don't have to get city council approval, do we?
No, it just has to be approved for you and then it goes to Kim, but if it's over $500, it would need to be a motion and it would need to carry.
Okay,
Money.
okay. So, we have a motion to approve this.
I still have a question.
Okay, what's your question?
I was thinking all along that it was gonna be more like an entrance mat, a carpet entrance mat that could be taken out when it gets wet, because if we're in an emergency, you're gonna get wet in mud. Could be just rolled out and hosed off. And like a 6x20 of those is $560 for a 6-foot wide by 20-foot long.
Mhm.
I mean, that's just one look, and those are designed to basically, it's a finished carpet with the rubber mat underneath and a little bit of the thin rubber around the outside, and that way you can roll it up, take it out, hose it off, let it dry, put it back in, because I'm just wondering, in an emergency,
Well, this isn't an emergency, this is for their office.
But when it's
Oh, I
used,
thought it was for the trailer.
It is, it's for their office, they
but when
do.
it's used in a,
Yeah, when it's used in an
Horrible weather,
emergency,
in
they
an
have
emergency,
mud
turn it into a
In
mess.
and out.
and stuff like that, that's gonna get damp. And if it has, for example, if the bid probably included,
padding,
padding,
Yeah.
if that gets damp and wet,
and it's mold and mildew and.
Yeah.
Let's explore something like that, Randy.
Randy, would you explore it and bring it to the next meeting?
yeah, I guess what I need to get an idea of what they,
You need to get in it.
Yeah, just go look at it. I can help with that.
Okay.
Into the trailer, we'll take
Okay.
that on.
All right,
That's saving $1,200.
and so then we had, they had other things that they were requesting. Do you remember, what they were, Gina, the other things they were requesting?
From Michael Dane.
Mm-hmm.
I think the trailer was,
I think they needed new
Priority.
lights, better lighting.
well, because it's a communications trailer, the issue of the carpeting is to help with sound dampening, in an emergency. It's not just the flooring, but it's the inside of the trailer will need to have other areas that are protected by some kind of carpet, for sound. Because that is gonna be, they're gonna be there with radios and all that. I think that was his priority.
And then that, when they came, that was the estimate, the guys that came,
Yep.
they actually looked at those
Yep.
issues.
They went inside and said, this is what it would cost if you want us to do this work, do it like that. Because it's a specialty, carpet laying because of the size of the trailer and the fit and all that. And finding another vendor in the valley to come out and do that for a similar price is really probably unlikely. So probably that's the best price you're gonna find.
So did that bid include going up the walls a little
They
bit?
included everything that Michael Dane recommended.
Okay.
So he and Brady talked, and Brady was there with the rep, and Brady got the estimate, told him what.
Well, let's have Brady, help us next time, and
Do you want me to
Randy.
go see if Brady's over?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be
Okay, let me
terrific.
go see if he's.
Yeah, thank you,
Oh,
that'd be
thank
great.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if it's going up the walls and stuff, maybe it's not such a
Yeah,
bad
maybe it's not
price.
such a small
If
thing.
they're wanting to do soundproofing.
Thanks for trying to get this resolved.
Yes.
does anybody know, are there currently fixed structures on the floor?
Hey,
Or is everything mounted on the wall?
Oh, here's our,
need you.
Sure.
here's our expert,
it's all right, we're getting ready to hire another person.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I got one.
So Brady, we're talking about the request from Michael and Eric about the putting carpet down, and then we also
Yeah. Right.
you got an estimate, and so, it seems some of us are thinking that's really high price, and
Yeah.
I've looked for other estimates, like getting remnants, we can do that, but we'd have to have somebody
Right.
measure it and cut it and install it.
Some of the cost was they had to, right now it's got diamond plate in there, and that's the problem where it echoes and it's hard to roll around on diamond plate. And they have to put a filler in to even that off and then put carpet down. And it was just a glue down squares, so.
Did
But
you,
we could try another, carpet company, there's Ken Martin, there's Carpet One, there's other places too, but it doesn't
Yeah,
that leveler for sure.
okay, I've talked to a couple of them, and they said they would charge $75 to come and give us an estimate. This,
Oh, is that out of the valley? That's usually valley people will do that, cause it's so far to drive, but there's, Carpet One's in Newport, they'll give us free,
okay,
quotes. Ken Martin's in Wicked City, will give us a free quote.
Do you recall, was there any discussion about the ease of drying it out? Because in an emergency, it's gonna get muddy, it's gonna be wet in there.
Yeah, that was some of it was indoor, the squares were indoor outdoor carpet, they're real thin, but they're thick and it doesn't echo. Problem they're having when they talk it echoes quite a bit. And they were gonna have a partition made, which is just a screening between the operators talking, which is one thing, that's pretty simple, that's just a little mount thing that mounts, but the echoing in the carpet, they use the squares because they can get wet and dry out pretty quick if you put a heater in there. It's not like carpet, like business carpet like this is, it's more of an indoor outdoor. It's similar to the office in there, we have the glue down squares.
So is there a lot of stuff on the floor mounted, or are the cabinets and counters mounted on the walls?
Yeah, they're up on shelves. There's one seating area that's got storage inside. We're gonna go up to that. We're not gonna do underneath that because it's kind of permanent. We made a bench in there with a padded cushion that lifts up and you can store stuff inside and then put the seats back down. It's kind of like a long 7-foot, it's long like these chairs are, but it's a bench. So that'll stay.
Is it freestanding? Like you can pick it up and move it
No,
out?
it's mounted to the floor.
Oh.
Everything's mounted so you can drive it around and move.
So Randy looked up really quick to get like a roll-up carpet.
Talk
Yeah.
about the hallway roll, the
Yeah,
metal
we're looking
hallway
at, it
vents?
needs to be mounted to the floor so they can roll around in it and if you get something that rolls down and it's gonna get bound up in the wheels and of the chairs so I think the idea that Leggett's had was a good idea, but we need to, just get something that glues down. Instead of a rolling carpet.
As you need to.
And then places where they gas.
Yeah, and the filler fills in the leveler in the diamond plate and then you could glue down the tiles, but I thought it was kind of steep, but I think we could go somewhere else and kind of give them the same idea, like Leggett's, Ken Martin. I think we just need to get another couple quotes.
So does anybody want to volunteer to call Ken Martin and also carpet
I'll
one?
do that.
Kathy, okay.
Yeah, the carpet one, I think, yeah, we'll just make an appointment to see him and then I can meet him and kind of tell him, we definitely need the leveler, but I think that it all boils down to maybe the carpet that we wanted is kind of spendy, because when we got the office done, Regina and the sheriff's offices, those were remnants at the time, and probably can't get those, and we're kind of like, just match this is really nice, and maybe that's where the price came in high, because he's got to order it now, doesn't have it in stock, maybe it doesn't really matter. I don't think Michael cares what the color is. It's more of the, the texture and rolling around and the firmness on the ground. I think that was more where they could roll around and communicate and
Okay.
their chairs kind of roll around.
And is it better to have carpet on the walls, or can you put like
No.
that rolled foam stuff?
Yeah, I
that
think that,
corrugated
exactly,
foam, like
they
recording
talk about
studios
these
use?
dividers like that too, and that they can soundproof the walls, I think, with stuff is perfect, but I think a lot of the echoing is coming from the floor.
Right.
Yeah, but I think we could do a little, I saw the price too, I thought it was quite steep. But, I know they want an antenna that you park, it's an outside thing that you could, extend this antenna and then you like park a car or the trailer itself on it with a wheel, and that's the base.
That's
Really
another thing
slick.
that they're asking
And then
for.
they could crank it up and it's more of a, like if they get it to the top of the hill, say if it's an event, we gotta take the trailer and get it up top of Collins, we could, extend this antenna out, it's really neat.
Are you talking about a COW, a COW?
No, just for the radio.
It's an antenna that you
Oh, it's
crank up in the air and it'll reach, I don't know.
For their ham radios?
Yeah, for their ham radios, yeah.
So the improvements are this carpet that needs to be better, that you just described, and we're gonna get another. And then the other improvement is an antenna.
Yeah, that's.
Is there another one, or are those what they're asking?
They have plenty of antennas, but sometimes you need one for better clarity and
Right, no, I
further reach.
understand. So but those are the two things that this.
That's kind of the two things that he gave,
Okay.
Kim,
Just wanted to get it real
that
clear.
was on their
They
needed
want
list.
lighting or anything? I
We have some emergency lighting, we have 2 or 3 types, we have one that's a big Pelican, lights up really good, we have one on a stand that takes batteries. You can rotate out, we got big batteries for it, so currently we have a good setup. We might need a bigger generator, like a suitcase Honda. Right now we have like a 1000, but it didn't seem to power enough. We need 11 or 1200.
So the one that Dennis gave you, do you remember what size that is?
Yeah, that's a bigger, that would work, but it's more of this is more of a compact, you can grab it by the hand. That one's more of a bigger, yeah, it's a kind of a bigger cart, kind of that one you got will work good, but that's more for like, let's say one of the plants or the city hall or something we could use for lighting in a building.
Okay. Okay, so that would be over.
Yeah.
So those 3 things.
Okay. And I know they looked up what they wanted specifically and I gave it to Kim.
Okay,
So I think that's what I remember, but, I can talk to Gina about it later and make sure that we,
And we could probably wait on the generator, like till next budget or something, I don't think we need that, we still have a generator. We
okay,
have a little Honda, it just seemed to be underpowered last couple times we went to use it.
so we even have something too large or too small, right? Okay,
Exactly,
that's
we need to
why.
find a happy, they make them now that are pretty powerful that are really compact.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In these new Hondas or Yamaha, but I think the Honda would be great. But being it's kind of a high-end thing needed, we really weren't thinking that's what we wanted, but until we had the incident last winter and we were plugging heaters and things in it, it started not to work right. So we're thinking, oh, let's get it, and then it really didn't make it in the budget, so
Mhm.
maybe next year on the generator. But I know they've been kind of wanting carpet for many years now, like probably since 20.
Well, I think we should give it to them.
Yeah, and in light of that,
I
I'd say
think that's a little
have it and then do the
I
best.
think we could find a better price, you know, maybe Liggett's, maybe we can go back to Liggett's too and say, hey, find us some remnants or something,
Well,
we
you
don't
know,
have to have
I
this.
called Leggett, I didn't tell him who I was with,
Mhm.
but I just called just for information. And I gave him the dimensions, because I had them as to what size, and asked him about remnants. And he says, well, we don't have anything that large. At least at that time they didn't.
Yeah, it might, yeah, cause that's not a very big space, it's kind of small, to me, it's smaller than a bedroom.
Mhm.
Yeah, but if
So-
you're talking squares,
Yeah.
you're talking, you know, somebody bought enough squares and they have just 7 left.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Well, I
If
didn't
you want
realize
them
it
to
was
match.
squares. I didn't know it was
But
squares.
I
just.
I'm thinking we could go to Carpet One is really, I've had a lot of luck with them
So
over
I
the
didn't
years.
know that there were other carpet.
Yeah, Carpet One's pretty big, go on Highway 20, just a couple
Okay.
blocks from 101 on the
Right by
south
West
side.
Bank, yeah. on
Yeah,
the
so
south
there's
side.
an Asian store there and a bed store, so
Okay.
The owner of that is just really great to work with.
they're, yeah, I've had some luck with them personally too, I would be willing to go there, they have a lot of remnants too. in the
Kathy,
back.
thank you, if you could look into that and let us know the next meeting, that would be
And we
great.
could maybe drive up there and go look, in their back, in the back room, they have remnants all over
Oh,
back there,
yeah.
and we'll just tell them, you
What
know,
we're
the
doing.
leveling might be a certain price,
Yeah,
and then
that's-
after the leveling, whatever goes down is smooth down,
Yeah,
they'll be fine with it.
yeah.
That sounds good,
Chair
Alice.
Key, I just wanted to just update you, I'm in contact with Kim, just real quick, and just gave her kind of a brief of the trailer, since we were talking about the trailer. And she said that, definitely are not gonna get the same results with rugs because of what Brady said. The chairs they use have wheels on them and they're gonna get caught up in that. So the filler is what needs to be done, to overlay the diamond plating. So, she said that that's something that needs to be considered, and that's why she thought that the estimate was probably the best that you will get, from a local vendor. And then, so basically, she said, she's in a session right now, but she says, hi,
Okay.
everybody.
Well, if Kathy can research it and find a better price, that's great.
Yeah, and, so you guys, she said you could, end up with having spent not all of your budget money, but that means that you get less next year. So you can spend more money on it, but you can decide.
In light of
Due diligence, we'll do our homework. We'll
Yeah.
find
In light of that, I was wondering though, can we do with the budget that we had, would that make sense to use the generator and the portable antenna they're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna ask, so how can we get cause I know nothing about how to buy an antenna, can we get that from Michael Dane, what he needs?
Yes, he gave it to Kim, but I can get a current cost,
Right.
Would
and I
you
can have that for next meeting,
Yeah,
and
that would
just
be
get it to
And then we
Joyce.
can actually get them what they need.
Should I get it to Joyce? You want me to give you that antenna info? Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, that'd be great, and then between that and that, then at least they've got that, and we've got money, we can look at the generator.
okay.
Yeah, because they've been asking, they've been really nice about it, but they've asked about it
Yeah, that's
at
smart,
least twice, and I just think that we should.
I think it's
Yeah.
great, I really like what you're
And
doing.
they're really good at, even though there's stuff going on and we're all busy, they just move right ahead, with like the Great Oregon Shakeup, they did that on their own, and they did a really good job. I was
Oh,
embarrassed the fact that we didn't have time to help, and they did all the work, and they did really great. I was proud.
okay, thank you, Brady.
Sure.
I appreciate that very much. Okay, so moving along, to our next item. So we've done a really good job on planning. I think we have a huge list of things we'd like to accomplish, and so I just took on that whole list, and I'm sorry, my handwriting's kind of
You have
small.
tiny handwriting.
I know. I should have had you do it, Deb, as
I
a
tell you.
school teacher.
Yeah,
And so,
I can write big.
and so what I'd like is, please to, is just, let's prioritize this, and we don't have to have all 9 of them prioritized, but let's prioritize that, and let's put into place some of this. I don't know if you want to work in teams, I don't know if you want, it's up to you as to how you want to tackle it. We need to determine first what we want to do first, and maybe second, and maybe have these, if we could accomplish 1 or 2 this year, that would be terrific. And so if you're looking at, the things on the board, let's just think about what we want to do. I know, Deb, you have a passion for,
Maybe Friends in High Places.
Friends in High
Right,
Places.
when we got denied a cash site,
Mhm.
the community release is, actually somebody was there for the 2011,
Mhm.
and they said that the streets were just flooded, like everybody comes up there. And so I'm like, I have not seen that, and so I would really like the city's help with
Mhm.
Friends in High Places
I
to
would
be
too.
ready for one of those. 2000.
Remind me, Friends in High Places.
That's the barrel program.
Okay,
That's
got it.
right. And then that way-
I was
I
gonna
remember.
say,
Right.
those first 2 items could be together.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
sort of.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If we accomplish those 2, you know, that would be terrific.
Right.
So I do have information about what, Seaside did, and so my question is, what, you wanna take it on yourself, you want me to work with you?
Oh, yeah, no, let's work on it
Okay,
together, because you
well-
already have contacts in Seaside, so let's just nail it
Okay,
and
okay.
then really get them to.
Okay,
Yeah, right.
so you and I can work on
Yeah,
that.
sounds great.
And,
I'm all in.
and so, who wants to work with me on the buckets? As Seaside as well, should we just combine the 2? or
Yeah, why
do
don't we
we-
try that? So
Yeah.
since it's a Seaside contact, we'll work on both of those.
Okay. Alright. So, then we talked about shakeout activity possibly, 2025 or before for emergency evacuation. Who has a passion about trying to get this as a community outreach? Because I'd like to have at least 3 different events this year, so that's, we've talked.
This year, you meaning before 2025?
No, I'm talking about,
2025.
in our fiscal year between June and next June of 2025.
Yeah, I think the shakeout activity, again, we're kind of on hold until we have the
Yeah,
specifics.
I think
But,
we've got,
I-
just,
But once we have that, I think we can,
then we can zoom on it,
yeah.
Okay, so in hold, I'm sorry,
Let's just hold on that one for
I
now.
know, but what was the reason again, Randy?
Everbridge.
Okay, Everbridge, okay, all right. And I have not been involved with Look at Me First. I just haven't because of everything else that I've done.
Right.
It's a program that's still going on. I've been on several, Zoom calls and things like that. I don't know a lot about it. Does anyone have a passion for that? But, you know, some cities are doing it. Cities are. Is that something that we should focus on?
Is this the
It is.
binder in the cash?
Mhm.
Oh, good, that's a good way to describe that, thanks, I was trying to put that in words, yeah, that's what that is.
When I went through CERT, they called it open first. So you may have heard.
Yeah,
Right, that's
So it
right,
means the same.
it means the exact same thing. Just look at that.
And so, you know, I'm so sorry, I'm on the wrong thing, I apologize. I meant number 9, 2 weeks ready, I apologize. So that's the one that I'm asking you guys about. Just kind of like going down to the end. The city, it's a good program, but I haven't had the chance to really do much other than a couple of Zoom calls. Does anybody?
I've done that too, but I thought Kim was the lead.
Well, she is, but there's just a lot to be done. You know, there's just a lot to, she's the coordinator, and I think she's been attending all the meetings. There's just, I don't have time to do it if we're doing all this other stuff.
Right.
Should we just put it on the back burner?
I think we should right now.
Okay, all right.
Because that could come along as we have our things scheduled
Mhm.
and get more interest, and then it
Mm-hmm,
can kind of fall into place.
Yes.
mm-hmm.
Well, we're already doing it, but it's just not part of an official program,
Right.
you know? Okay, so look at me first, the protocol, so Kathy and I, just recently worked on, we so far have communications that he helped me with. He helped me with medical, and Kathy and I worked with sanitation. That's a huge protocol, but we have a good start on it. And we also worked on shelter. So is everybody okay with Kathy and me continuing to work on that particular protocol?
Yeah, I think,
Okay. Ready? Contents for city web, information. So what Gina is basically looking for, and I wasn't sure what to do when I started working on this. So she doesn't want articles, she's looking for information about sites for people to go to. So I've given her some information, I have a whole bunch of information
And you are, what
that we can
sites
use.
to go to for what?
So like links to
Mhm.
get
Yeah,
information, links to the county website, links to
Oh.
FEMA, links to.
Oh, so this is for the website?
Yeah.
Does anybody have time? It won't require anything other than just researching it. Okay, thank you, Karen. And a lot of information is stuff that we picked up at Lincoln City Fair.
And that's the same thing
That's
in Newport when
that's
I
right.
met.
And
Justin.
so we just need, not duplications, but just, that would be wonderful if you could work on that. So communications and phone training, number 6.
and phone,
Yeah,
communications and
and phone training.
phone,
So
okay.
that was one that you mentioned, Randy, that you would like to have more information, try to get phone training. Is this something that, tell me what you meant by wanting more phone
I don't
training?
remember,
How do you foresee that?
What's phone training?
I don't remember bringing that
Well,
up.
when we talked about communication, she said that we should all have, like, local code, possibly having another meeting here at the city to make sure everybody is on board with the type of phones that we need and the training that we need to communicate with each other.
You mean radios?
Oh,
Oh,
not phone training, I'm sorry.
okay,
Radio training. I'm sorry, radio training.
all right.
So, is that something am I understanding that correctly? Do you think we need to have better radio training? I know that we need to do a better job with, our weekly alerts, and I'm the worst at that.
I'm thinking what we did in Little Well Cove now, officially, it's recommended when new people move in and now regularly in our Little Well Cove monthly newsletter monthly, that they get that recommending people buy radios and have a two-way radio. But what I'm discovering is that we need to clarify that that's primarily for listening. Otherwise, people get you'd have to pay too much money for a radio to get, a lot of calls out. And because it's simplex radio, one person could talk at a time. The more people that have radios and that want to talk at the same time, the less we'll be able to communicate. And so the lesser kind of price radios, like $35, $40 in Weimar right now, as well as some other, would be fine, but it's helping people understand that it's really, first and foremost, it would be just like having the NOAA weather radio there. Primarily, it's to listen. And then occasionally to talk, but that kind of thing.
Well, I know that,
So-
Ron Pierre talked to this committee, a while back, and it was really, really good training, and that's when we went out and got our GMRS radios and what have you. Do you think that we should have community phone training? Should we have, how, is that even an issue? What do you think, guys? should we have our citizens trained as to how to communicate with each other?
I think it would be a good thing to offer. I
Mhm.
need it.
Mhm.
You know, and if people are gonna have their hands on the radios, they need to know how to use them. But also for people who don't have the radios, at least have a friend in high places that has one and buddy up with them, and then there's fewer people on, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So that needs work, I would say. That
So
one.
I would include, Patrick Gans in that. So when he came and talked to us, and we devised our communication plan. So, because we've got 3, so there's 5 people, there's 2 hubs, and then there's 5 people that have GMS radios. And we're all in charge of being in touch with someone.
That's like
So
a phone tree.
it's like our communication tree, because we're assuming that our cells aren't working. If your cells are working, that's a whole other ballgame. But if your cells aren't working, then you're rolling into a GMRS. And so Captain Gans then, when we talked about an event. And so an event, he goes, so here's what we're hoping you're going to do. And he's talking to our neighborhood. That you're gonna take the first 2 hours and you're gonna get your data. You're gonna go door to door and you're gonna be communicating with your GMRS, and your captains are gonna be coming up. And then within 2 hours, then I want you to get on the radio and then communicate with them. So we're channel 6 and we on channel 16, you're channel 7, and as is the city. And so we all are monitoring, we all have those particular, to watch. Because he said, that first 2 hours, everybody with a radio is going to be screaming in, not knowing what to do and saying they need help.
Right.
And so they're gonna spend those first couple hours just weeding through the chaos, which he said, what we're looking for from you is do the best you can, get your act together, and then give us good data, which is now we have a plan for that. Just because of what you guys are talking,
Yeah,
everybody with the radio is just going loud, saying, what do you need? Oh, what do you need? And
But
so
we
we
do
actually
need that
need to talk
training
about
then.
moving to, and so the idea with it, what I'm expecting, I'm hoping, what Michael Dane and his crew will be doing, will be asking these people who are having conversations like that to move to a different station, leaving 16 available for first responders,
Right.
7 available for the city and for LWC, and 6 available for government health. That's what I would imagine those first couple hours are, getting all of that screening, because people are gonna be scared. I'm not trying to be judgy. People are scared, they don't know what else to do, and they've got a radio in their hand, and they haven't practiced with it, and now they don't know what they're doing. So,
We need to train.
Patrick Gans talks about it like this is how we anticipate
Yeah.
those first 2 hours being like that.
And
So the
that's
fact
been-
that you have that up there it could be something that you do, get ready for.
And so,
On a regular basis.
so he talked to your HOA, did he talk to your HOA or?
Well, we've been doing that already
Anyway,
for
okay, gotcha.
years, so.
Okay.
And part of and that's exactly the format that
That's
was
the same thing
set
you're
up 8
using.
years ago, is
Yeah.
the idea that you basically sublet,
Yeah.
subsidiarity. So you're local, but you've gotta have, in our case, we call them safety captains, but
Yeah.
our safety captains were the communication for roughly a city block,
Right,
roughly.
so,
And so our job, like you said, and then you said exactly, and that's probably what Patrick's saying, is
Mhm.
first 2 hours, you're trying to collect as much information, and then after 2 hours, then connecting the next level, which would be the EOC here, with data. Yeah, 7 people, we got 3 emergencies,
right,
all green, we're affected, but,
exactly
we
right.
can wait.
Which is another reason why part of what we're doing, part of what we determined that this committee was to make people aware that they needed to be able to be sustainable. That they're not, you
Right.
can't look to the city those first couple of hours, you've gotta be able to, which is,
Neighbors.
you gotta be able to handle whatever's going on, which is why then we have on here about coming up with so they evacuated to a cache, and so now the first people there have the code, they open it up and it says, this is what you do first. And we've even talked about that, then you start dealing with your medical and you get all that done, and so the fact that I find that's really forward thinking, that you're already anticipating the chaos of that first 2 hours, which is gonna be chaotic. We're gonna be really super busy. And so I think I'm gonna miss that chaos, because I'm not gonna be on my radio, but I would imagine the radio waves are gonna be craziness. That's something, if that's something we need to have Michael Dana part of that conversation. Like, how do we anticipate that?
And that's another reason why to encourage regular folks to primarily get a lesser priced,
There you
generally
go.
just by price radio, that they can hear further, you can always hear further than you can talk. So that they can hear, but even if they did get carried away and push a button, it's only affecting the people in their neighborhood
Interesting.
rather than blocking the conversations.
That's going on.
This is what the ham operators have always been against trying to bring people on board, is because you're stuck with this.
Money's the thing.
And, you know, you can't talk at the same time, and the more of you there are, the
Right.
less you can actually communicate unless you're trained and stuff, and so this is a little bit of it why that system, you know, is there, and so, again, there would be advantage in the local level, especially not knowing if like I, as a safety captain, will I feel safe going out to my neighbors in my, you know, the 14 houses that I, you know, because I'm not expected to have to do that as a safety captain. If I can, I will, and if I feel safe, I will, but if I'm not, that's when, okay, there's, you know,
You
if they
think
have
about
no
the
radio, that even if it just talked to 6 houses away,
Yeah.
which a lot of these other ones, a lot of these, it's basically, you know, they're as far as you can see.
Yeah.
So if you can't see the end of your block, it's not gonna reach, but that's okay. If it's, you know, local, and if people know every hour, to start with, on the hour, because otherwise you wear your battery out.
That's right.
So every
That's a
hour,
whole
at
other
the
thing.
beginning, every hour, especially kind of, you know, turn your radio on 5 minutes before or 5 minutes after,
Right. It's
and
actually,
listen.
and that's it, and actually, that's, as we talked about, that, it's actually a first day problem,
Mhm.
because the second day, all those people that aren't really prepared, they run all their radios down, and now.
Yeah.
And so now we've got it down to the people that are prepared.
Yeah,
to actually
prepared
have the
with
backup,
extra
and they know what
batteries
to do, and that's
or
what all of our
radios.
captains have as well, so
Right.
you keep the radios up and going, it's all those others that are, so, yeah.
So I think what you're talking about really is what I'm talking about here, the
Yeah.
very last one, having conversations with people. So we have several of us from people who've been to different events, just to talk to the people, what neighborhood do you live in? We're trying to get the neighborhoods organized and what have you. That's the first step, trying to contact the neighborhood. In an HOA, you have a good situation, because you're
It's all the
defined.
others.
And so we need to find out, you know, where these people live, and I don't mind taking that, and we've talked about doing that, and I think it's important, and, you know, because we've told them we're gonna contact them, and we haven't yet, and just say, we don't really know what we're doing yet, and we're not gonna say that to them, but we're sort of like, we're just gathering information.
Are you talking about that list that we got, I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
see, that was so, yeah. So the point of, the hope of that would be that we would have been able to do some networking, but since that
Mhm.
they didn't identify, we didn't have it set up where we could identify and start grouping them, but then we also determined that we didn't get the turnout that we were hoping for
Yeah.
anyway, and that was the next event that we would do, but the point is, whenever you have people gathered, then that's when you're gonna be able to start networking them together.
And that's what we've been doing, because Randy and I were at, and Karen, I think you were able to join us at the, night out, so we talked to people.
Mhm.
And the other event, what was the other event that we
No, there's
did?
another one we were at too.
It seemed like there was
Was it at the
another
community
event.
center?
What?
Was it at the community center? Was that?
No, it was at the park.
No, I mean the other one.
Yes, the other one was. So I have a list of 3 people, three people. Oh, it was at the Pet Palooza, I think, right? Also gathered.
Okay,
I have names and phone numbers. and
okay,
so
good.
I just, a friendly call, you know, like, you know, we're at the city, what neighborhood do you live in? We're trying to group the neighbors, you know, to,
So once you identify those people, I'm happy to go out and sit with the groups and show them how to set up a communications network.
Perfect, thanks, Deb.
And then, rope Randy in once it starts to get a little more detailed. I can start getting them talking about it, and if it starts to get to be where they're really doing it, then Randy, I'm gonna ask you to help me when it comes to the whole radio part. I can get them to share information and get them to visualize what they're trying to put together. I can do that with them, once
And
you
so-
start coming up with names.
Yeah, I don't mind calling and getting the neighborhoods, and then Kathy.
You're setting up a meeting and I'm happy to go.
Thank you. And Kathy had talked about getting the, using the community center
Yeah.
for these people.
Yeah,
So do you see how that would be tiered? She's gonna organize it, I'll get them start thinking.
Yeah, I think
And
the
then when we
point
start
is
to really get to the point of
really-
everything, I'm gonna need to
Yeah.
drag you in.
probably, while we could do, have one event we're gonna have for sure would be once we get the, Everbridge going, will be the shakeout thing. And a second one could be a community event about radios and stuff,
Nice.
but in in
Yeah.
practical terms,
Yeah.
what would be best, and then we could talk about it at the radio thing, is set up a social network with your local, and then when you have that,
Here we
we
go.
have some resources,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have 3 or 4 people easily
Yeah.
in Little Well Cove that could communicate, could
Excellent.
meet with any
That's
a
right.
group. And but I think, other than doing a general thing to get it on the radar, and
Right.
those that already are interested and they want the information,
Right.
but getting
Right.
new people, it's gonna be the social, setting up a network first,
And if.
and then let them say,
Exactly right.
we're available on Friday night.
That's what we do, that's
At
exactly.
5 o'clock, we'll host it at your house and we'll have hot dogs.
That's what we do, and then we'll be sure
And
to be
then-
invited.
And then there's a group of people that will volunteer and say, hey, we'll come in, I'll bring in a radio, I'll bring.
And if by chance, not to wish one on us, but if by chance there is an event of some kind, no matter how big or how small, if it's a gas leak where a neighborhood's had to organize, we jumping on those moments because people are much more
It's right in the
ready to
top of
go.
the line.
The generator sales after the
Oh, I
January
know.
event. So it's just, if you could just wedge yourself into those times. So if there is an event, I believe it's one of those times we need to mobilize to
Yeah,
decide how do we take.
very
advantage of
shortly
it.
after,
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, thank you guys, this is really good information.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I just want to fill you guys in on what Kim has said regarding some of your questions, discussion from earlier about the Stonebridge MOU.
About the what, please?
Stonebridge MOU,
Okay,
memorandum of understanding that you discussed. So, I think there was the assumption that Kim was working on that MOU, but she wanted me to remind you that the MOU is actually the easy part of the process and should be completed last, because there's no point in writing an MOU
if we don't understand what we're doing.
without the capability to actually do something with it. It needs to be written in the MOU what the plan is. So, do you have a plan in place for her to include in the
No,
MOU?
we don't.
And so the issue is that, what do we do when we have the MOU? And so the committee should focus on what their plan is for that, and then she'll write the MOU, because she's not moved forward with that because I moved in a different direction. And then the other one, she wanted me to let you know, we do have Everbridge. She did talk to Samantha Buckley. When she gets back from the committee, she will be papering Depot Bay with a flyer with more information about how to sign up for it, as well as she'll put it on Facebook, it'll be at the post office. She's also should be sharing them, the flyer with short-term rentals. And also, she'd like to figure out how we can place signs without having to involve ODOT. Because if we involve ODOT with signs, that will log the process down. So more small local signs for residents to tell them how to sign up for Everbridge. So when she gets back, those are her goals with Everbridge. She'll be able to do that. Just wanted to let you know. And then there was something about the fire department's cash discussion. She wanted me to remind you that it is their responsibility to maintain that. So it's not us. So
And I think Kathy, you were talking to them, weren't
yes,
you?
yeah,
okay.
Okay.
Patrick, yes.
Something about a permit, and so they're supposed to be maintaining it.
Okay, so, if she's looking before the MOU for us to get plans from Stonebridge, so Karen, can you and Kathy and I meet with them, is that okay with you?
Yeah.
And something written for Kim, whatever comes from that discussion, if you could write it down and give it to Kim so she can know what she's doing when she
Okay.
writes that to you, yeah.
Okay, all right. I didn't understand how the NLU worked.
Oh,
I didn't know
yeah.
you were waiting for us.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't understand.
Yeah,
Did
Sorry.
Stonebridge, your association already met and okay this?
Mhm.
Okay, so then that's
So
already
it's mainly
happening.
just talking through, this is what we all agree to, and
That's great.
then if it's already done that way, then MOU is just gonna be more of a
Just write it.
formalization rather than.
That's the easy part, she
Okay,
said,
that
is
makes
just write it
sense.
up, yeah.
Okay,
So-
Karen, could you please, talk to Kathy and me with our schedules and we'll try, and that maybe,
Can the three of us meet without it being a
you mean,
notice meeting?
you mean with Gina? Is that what
She's asking because of the quorum thing, do you
Yeah.
the three of you make, where you have to post the fact that
that's
you're
right.
Do a
meeting?
notice for the meeting? If
Yes,
there's three of us?
only two of you could meet.
Yeah.
So if three of
Oh,
you
okay.
mean, then it's a quorum, then I have to attend and take minutes and it has to be announced that it's.
So
public meeting.
Karen, you'd wanna meet with me?
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
No,
that's
smart
I think all we really need is a formal letter from the.
Just spell it everything
That's
out.
what I think too.
Yeah.
And when you said they kind of agreed to it, there was already a discussion of the where and the what it would look like and the cost or, you know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
whatever it might
Yeah,
be.
What they
who's
want.
responsible
To
for what?
formalize the.
Yeah.
Oh, great, so it does
So
sound
the
like it's
board's
more
already
just.
voted on that. I thought we were waiting for that.
Well, I did too,
Cool.
you know.
Well,
you know.
sounds like you have the pieces.
Okay, so Karen,
Awesome.
just check with me with
Awesome.
our schedules,
Okay.
and we'll just, be happy to do that. And
Nice
that's
at work.
And I still have my notes somewhere from
Turns out she's
when I
online.
talked to her.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
What'd you say?
Oh, I said, turns out she's online right now, she's chatting.
Oh, good,
Oh,
okay.
cool.
All right.
So then do we not need to have Sam come to the November 25th meeting?
You can have her come whenever you want, and it couldn't hurt anything.
I think we should extend an
It couldn't
invitation,
hurt.
just to be sure that we
Right.
nail that down.
But she said we do have it, and
Okay,
she,
cool.
and she has the flyer, and when she's being picked green, when she gets back, she'll be picked green.
That's nice.
The flyers, yeah, and Facebook.
So it works?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
So let's look, so we know that number one and two priorities are the friends in high places, and we're gonna do the barrel thing.
Okay, sounds good.
That should probably take a lot of our time, and then we're going to look at the, start community outreach, and we think that we're probably gonna do the, evacuation, so that's in the works. And then we have Karen that's going to, do the content for, the webpage, which is really important. So as far as the community outreach, I don't know that that's anything to assign to anyone. I think that's something that we all just need to come and talk about.
Right. And then
Figure out what we're
seize
going
the
to
day
do.
whenever we got it.
Yeah.
Whenever you have the moment.
And then, I don't mind making the phone calls to the people on the list. 2 weeks ready, we're just going to put that on hold with some of these other things. Is anything that I'm missing, anything else?
So when we were asking Sam to come, because she brought, and I don't have enough left over from our, when she brought the Everbridge information. Because to me, when we talk about community outreach, and I'm sorry, I only had 2 left over, but if I hear I'm in a meeting, I should have my Lincoln Everbridge alert stuck with me, because Sam can't be everywhere. And it would be an opportunity for me to say, hey, did you know that you have, so I would really like for her to provide each one of us here on the committee with a nice little stack of Everbridge flyers, so that whenever we're in a situation, imagine how many people you could get it to when we're in settings, and you went, well, you don't know about the alert system, oh my God, you so totally need to have one of these, and then if you need some help getting in your phone, it takes a minute, if you wanna do that.
Well, we
And that
can
would
give you
be
as
a-
many copies as you want, for the flyer that's Kim's created. So that flyer that she's created is specific to Depoe Bay.
Oh, that would be great,
So that's the one you want,
Yes.
you'll want.
that's the one
Yeah,
we
so
want, oh,
I
that's
can make
excellent,
as
not the
many-
one from
as many as you
Samantha.
want. Yeah.
Oh, that would
yeah.
be great,
When Kim gets back this week, she
how does
has,
it look, do you know?
so she has that on her
Okay,
work laptop, which she has with her, she hasn't shared it with me yet.
okay,
She's been working on it, she's good with that visual stuff,
good.
so.
I'm just saying, if I had 10 of those, I could
Oh.
probably come back and ask
Yeah.
for 10 more and choose.
Yeah, totally, so, send her, you can shoot her a quick email and ask for copies.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great, that's be great. Then that'd be one way to, when you say community outreach, it's moments like that. Like, you're like, hey, did you know, and we do have it, and if you're, first step to being ready is to being alerted to the event.
So is Everbridge the same thing as Lincoln Alerts, only from a
It's
different?
Yes, yes, exactly, Everbridge is the company name.
Yeah.
And it's what your icon looks like on your phone, and then Lincoln Alerts is what uses it. You get them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I get something that says Everbridge too.
Yeah,
And I have that too from when I was teaching, because that's how we got our
Yeah, that's
school
exactly.
closures and all that stuff.
I tell you who's really on it is FEMA. If you guys don't have FEMA,
I have FEMA too.
boy, they have just been on it with the fog and many more alerts than,
Good.
yeah.
And
All my
so is
weather
that,
apps,
there's a
FEMA.
sign up that's for FEMA?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh.
But if you load the FEMA app, they're being,
Oh, it's a separate app,
yeah,
okay, cool.
I'll show you after the meeting.
Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about, Emergency Preparedness Committee ordinance update. Have y'all read this update?
Which one?
Okay. Mhm.
Good.
So what Kim is suggesting, is in red. So right now we have, the ordinance says that it's okay to have two members, we should have two members on our committee. I'm leaving the council, so that's gonna change to where it's gonna be one member of the council. And so we definitely need to change that. And so Deb and Karen, I talked to you about, do you want to continue your relationship because your 2-year term is up, and both of you have said yes,
Right,
which is
yeah,
great,
good,
which is
yes.
really good. So what she's also saying, the role of liaison is to facilitate communications between the city council and the committee, ensuring the committee recommendations and concerns are effectively communicated to the council. The liaison serves as a non-voting member of the committee. This is the suggestion that she has. The liaison's presence does not substitute for official action by the city council, and for any formal action requested by the committee must be brought before the council. So what that means is, are we wanting to have, because there's been some city council feedback, do we want to have our liaison from this committee also on the council, in this position would be Kathy, have voting rights? You know, Ken was suggesting maybe we should think about that.
So say it in different, reword that for me one other way.
What's that?
Say that one more time I did not understand, I need more.
Well, right now we have Kathy and me are on the council, okay? So when anything has come up for the committee, there's been feedback that we're hedging the vote with the council because there's two of us that are voting in favor of what we want.
they ethically challenged.
Oh, interesting, well, that's not gonna be a problem anymore, so it's just Kathy's on there.
So, yeah, but Kathy, do we want Kathy to be a voting member on city council or not? That's the question.
On city council or
This
this?
is the city council, because with, I think it's understanding, we can come as a committee to decide on something, and we can all vote. But before the council, do we want the liaison person, which in this case would be Kathy, to be able to vote or recuse herself? So Kathy, what are your thoughts?
I don't know.
Are there any other committees that do this? Tell me
No.
what the model for this is.
I don't,
Millersburg. The model is Kim's former employer, Millersburg. They have a situation like this where the mayor is on a committee and serves as a liaison member and no voting member.
mhm.
So that's the model.
But we don't
Okay,
have
thank
any,
you for that, so I'd like to know where it's coming from.
but we don't have a certain committee now that has this issue because,
And so the concern is that we brought it by the short hairs because she's not only on the committee, but she's voting. But it's one vote out of how many are voting?
it would be 1 out of 7.
See, I have a problem silencing the mayor.
Mhm.
It's one vote, yeah, I mean,
It's
I
one
guess I can sort
I
of,
could kind
sort
of
of
see the
see
two,
with the two,
but it's one
with
vote. I
one-
understand what you're saying, but I have a problem silencing the mayor.
Okay.
yeah.
So do we need a motion on this, Gina, to?
If you want to make a recommendation that the ordinance be changed to whatever you got, there needs to be a motion. And then my understanding is that will be brought to city council
Okay.
and they have to vote on passing it.
So the ordinance right now, is she's supposed to recuse.
So what would,
have a vote.
That isn't how it is right now.
So then we don't need to, so we're not changing it.
There
No,
needs
no,
to be a
what we
change
have
if you
now-
want to retain, there needs to be a change because of the
Oh,
departure of Chair King, and she's also on the city
Got it.
council, and so, if you guys want to make it so that your bylaws say that the members can include, also the city
yeah,
council, then.
so we need to change number one, that one person can be on the city council.
Got it.
And
Then
we
we
should
should
change
change
which
it
we
to one.
Kathy, since now
And
it's
you want that
two.
person to be a liaison or a voting member.
A voting member.
So-
I move that the liaison is a voting member.
Okay, we have a second?
A second.
Okay, so what we're going to change then, as I see it, is that we just have one person
Right.
on the city council, or in the mayor could be certainly involved, and be a voting member, is that?
I don't see a reason to hobble one
Right.
vote. I
Okay.
don't understand that.
Can we just clarify for me, so a couple things. One is, does that preclude then a member of this, any other member of the city council being a member of this committee?
No, but no one's come forward to say they want to be a member. Right now, it says that we have two members from city council that are also on the committee.
Right.
Right now, if I'm going off as it stands right now, we need to change it to one. But if someone comes from city council and says, I want to be on this committee, that's another issue.
So then we have to change the ordinance?
And then we need to readdress the recusing or the voting.
It is, yes, because from the outside perspective, it could be viewed as a conflict of interest,
Mhm.
yes.
Conflict of interest, yeah.
And it is unusual in terms of municipalities to have this many city councilmen on the committee.
Okay.
So, 2 votes was one thing and 1 vote is another thing,
Yeah,
that's how I see
I
it.
can see that.
You know,
Yes.
okay, is everyone in agreement? So do I have a show of hands? We have a first and a second to approve this. Okay, that's all approved then. Okay, any questions?
No, thanks for being so clear. Phew,
It's kind of clear, I think.
that was confusing.
I know.
I was trying to figure out the motivation of it, actually.
Mhm, I
I
know.
see zero reason to follow one vote.
So another thing too, that we need to change on our ordinance, right now, we won't need to change, we need to discuss about it. Right now, we have 2 meetings a month. Do we need 2 meetings a month? Is it, my opinion, I think 1 meeting is enough if we can do all this research we're trying to do. Instead of having 2 meetings a month to talk about it, let's have 1 meeting a month to share what we've been able to accomplish with our goals. That's
Good.
Does that sound okay?
That sounds good. Also with the idea that we can mobilize if there's something that we need to meet on. Like,
Yeah,
Like
there's
if-
something pressing that
if there's
came up.
something's happened or
Gotta
something
pull
comes
together.
up and we need to know, then I think we're all just like, okay, so you've available 3 o'clock, and we can
Yeah,
always make sure
exactly.
that we do that.
Okay.
With the idea that we don't have to limit to once, but if we feel like we need another one, we could all get
Mhm.
together.
And
The
that
mayor's
doesn't
the one
cause
that
any,
have the schedule that we would have to.
that doesn't cause any structural issues.
Oh, how does that work with you?
Well, I was fine with 2 meetings before.
Okay,
I mean,
so if there was
I'm here.
another one, so if there was one and then one happened to come up, that'd be fine.
Yeah, I can attend no matter what, so no worries here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
if
smart.
that's a good point, because if it comes up, because we have, in the city council, we have special meetings that just sort of pop up.
Right.
And we have to make some type of decision as a city council.
And when we had them twice a month, then we could hold on to that, be like, oh, well, I've got a meeting in a week, so that's not good. With it once a month, then that becomes like, oh, can I really hold on to that for a month? And so we can just get it together. if we
So
have
I'll
to.
be working with you, on those 2
Yes.
things. Karen's gonna kind of be working on content.
Right.
Kathy and I will be working on the protocols. Randy, would you like to help Karen with the content for what we want to have on our city webpage?
That is really not my expertise.
Okay, Is there anything, because I don't want to leave you out, is there anything you
I
have?
don't feel left out. I
Okay.
mean, I think between the
Uh-huh.
He's doing
the things we
comments.
already have up there,
And I think we're gonna be sooner than we think. I think we're gonna be putting together, starting working on this drill thing once we get the
Yeah, I'm
Everbridge thing
just-
out down. I
yeah.
think that's gonna end up happening
And I'm
sooner than
certainly
later.
happy to-
Not that our date is gonna be there,
Right.
but we're gonna start working on it sooner than later, and that's clear.
and I'm
Okay.
certainly happy to
Yeah,
help you.
Wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I just didn't want to.
So he's on hold for the whole, the drill thing, the shaky drill.
And you and I are gonna work on the Stonebridge.
Yeah, and we're gonna work on stuff.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say,
Yeah, that shouldn't take long, that would be awesome. If we could get that, a letter by the 12th, is our next council meeting. We could get it on the agenda.
Check with your schedule and Gina's schedule and see when we can.
That would be awesome, because we need to, get that going.
And so Kathy, I have you down for carpet, you're gonna research. the
Yep,
carpet.
I'm going carpet one and Ken Martin, both of them.
That sounds terrific, and I'll get you the dimensions on the carpet that Gina shared with you.
You know, I'm also working on, Joyce shared with me, we're gonna go over this tomorrow, the supplies, we're finishing up the supplies for the caches.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna be finishing up all that as well.
I love when it rains and the
I
sun's
know,
coming.
pouring rain
Oh
and
my
the
gosh,
sun
the sun's
shining. I
Hey,
guess it's
it's
good that
Pacific Northwest, yeah.
That sounds really good,
Did somebody
okay,
make
so
a
I'll
motion about the number of meetings, just,
did
somebody make a motion?
Oh, we didn't make a motion.
Okay, do I have a motion
what your meetings
to, change our ordinance to meet once a month?
With the idea that we can call an emergency meeting when it's, well, not emergency, but a meeting,
Right.
a special meeting as needed. I
Okay,
made that.
Concur.
okay, and so Randy,
Okay, you got it?
Randy seconded it.
Okay.
And so, show of hands to approve? Okay, that sounds good.
So let's set a time so we can put it on the calendar for next.
Well, what I'm looking at is, November the 25th, which is Thanksgiving week.
I won't be able to.
Okay, so if we're looking at November, we've got,
I'll be driving home from California.
oh,
My
okay,
mom's
so
celebration of
we're doing the 2nd or 21st notice, so we've got, the reason I have for 25th is because this is Veterans Day, so I think the city will be closed.
Yeah.
And so we're looking
I
at,
can
the
do the
25th was the only one.
Let's
that-
move it to the 18th.
Let's move to the 18th so Karen can do it.
Is
that
that
good
if we change it to 18th, do we need any special?
Just let me know if you wanna
My
change.
son's
Okay,
in
let's
town
just
from
change it
Michigan,
to-
because we're
to
getting
the,
ready to go to my
18th,
mom's celebration.
Karen was
The 18th works for you.
Yeah.
I'll make it work.
Cancel the 25th, and cancel the 25th, move it back to the 18th,
Okay,
is that what you want?
well, it was never on the 18th.
I know, but you have a meeting
Yeah,
here, what I'm
yeah.
saying is cancel this and move it back
I
to
will,
here,
I
right?
will do that.
Oh, no, I will do it, you're telling me to do
Yes.
this, okay,
But is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
The 18th,
Okay.
okay,
we got it.
all right, at 3 o'clock, okay?
Okay.
All right,
Then do we want to, at this point, set which date we would meet with
Probably.
them? Kind of semi-regularly without holidays and all that stuff.
We're still gonna need to meet in December, because I'm hoping that we'll
Yes.
have some information. We've got the January 25th,
Green resiliency.
the green,
That long name.
I already had it on the 18th. To put it in my calendar. and that's okay.
so we're
So-
gonna need to meet in December.
okay, let's look at December, guys, and see what's gonna be the best
So we're
time.
reaching out to Samantha to see if she can come on the November 18th.
If you want her to attend.
Yeah.
I've got a caller, so I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay, great, thank you.
So if you look at December, we used to meet on the 2nd and 4th. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. In December, that would be the 23rd. I don't know if that's the best day.
No,
Y'all want to do it on the 16th?
16th works for me.
16 works.
Is that okay?
I'm not here on the 16th, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But that
how about-
doesn't matter.
How about, the 9th?
I can do it on.
yeah, let's do it on the 9th, because
Ninth
that'll
works.
give us a whole month then to.
Oh, that's nice.
I have it in my.
So
calendar
December the
already.
9th, that's what we scheduled anyway.
So we're,
Okay.
okay,
We
so
are scheduled.
December 9th.
December the 9th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just the
Okay.
way we planned it,
What's it, Randy?
just the way we planned it.
That's right. Oh, we're way
Of course
ahead.
it is, because we are prepared.
It's in our name.
Okay. So that's great, so we can change that ordinance to reflect that. So in your notes, I have information about my conversations with Cannon Beach and also with,
I saw those,
Seaside, just wonderful, wonderful information.
and even the school districts.
Oh, yeah.
Got those.
Yeah.
I found it interesting in those, in that, I was kind of looking for applicable things of related. That I think we're gonna be starting to see a lot more new products, like was expressed towards the end of that report, that showed in place of a cow, that $7,900 little hand cart, great portable radio communication system that actually goes out further. It has a further reach.
Well, and then I shared with
But
Ken.
again, I think that we wait a little bit, because it looks like there's gonna be some ideas and some new things coming out, but that I found very interesting.
And then I shared with Kim, and she said she's done the same research, that the Starlink radios are now cheaper and they're smaller.
Satellite.
Satellite, yeah.
Starlink?
Yeah,
And iPhone, if you're gonna own an iPhone 14 or older, 14 or newer, they have an iOS 18 that then allows you to emergency satellite message.
Ooh, I need to upgrade.
So, and so if you have, look at and we're looking at a view of the bay, so we've only got a couple folks that have it now, they're all thinking, oh, maybe I'll get a new phone then. But if you have, and they tested it out in Helene and the last two hurricanes that came into the coast, and so, and it worked well. And so Apple's all excited, I'm not an Apple user, so I'm not on that curve, but they're very excited that it was a way that people were able to communicate, that iPhones 14 and newer have when there is an emergency, they have a satellite messaging system.
that's wonderful.
Wow.
That's so wonderful. I mentioned Apple has it, Android will get it pretty soon.
And so I actually asked, so I asked around about it, and so the Android system that has something now is Pixel. And they are, it's pretty glitchy and Apple's not sharing how theirs isn't glitchy, so I wouldn't think it's in the next 6 months. So it's gonna be where, at least up at View of the Bay, we're depending on our iPhone users then, and we're putting together an iPhone network and then providing them with information of non-iPhone people, so that when there is an event, our iPhone network can then contact a family member of all of our non-iPhone people in a text
Cool.
message and let them know.
Wow, wow, that's
But
great
that's-
idea.
But that's just
Does
iPhone.
it wanna make you go to the dark side?
I just can't.
I'm not a Apple, I have it because my wife, we get two and it was cheaper to do that, and I've hated Apple and stuff, and I'm like, well, I guess there's another reason why
It's not
people-
horrible, but it is not, but that's a really nice thing, and they're very proud of it. If it's one of the things that came out of the hurricanes, that they were, you didn't hear the stories like Lahaina, that there was no way to communicate, it's because iPhone rolled out their new iOS just in time.
Oh, wow.
Which is, so they look like they're like this.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
But it's the iOS.
They rolled out a new iOS, and if you upload that, if you download or whatever, I believe it's 18. Again,
But it won't work on
Probably not.
13 and under.
won't work on anything older than a 14.
any iPhone, so it's, I just like get confused between the iOS version and the iPhone.
numbers.
Right.
Got it,
You
okay.
have to have a 14 or newer,
course,
and
this
then
is
you just have to update. But I
13.
know several people did it with no problem. They did it actually around me.
Wow.
So it happens pretty easily, and then and then it actually works in a non-emergency situation, but it's not as efficient, but it does work. And they proved it out
It's included.
in the,
Wow.
It's included, they don't charge you extra if you use it.
I'm not an Apple person, so I don't know that answer. I
Is it-
would think not, I think you upload the iOS and you're good.
Okay. Is, so, are you on Apple, did you say?
Yeah.
You are?
I'm not
So are we
happy
on
about it, yes.
Android other than
No, I'm
that?
not.
Android.
I would
How
have
old
the
is your
dark
phone?
side.
It's a 13, of course.
Oh, wow.
I
And so
thinking
how
of
brilliant of Apple
Yeah.
to make it, because they're already up to what, 18?
60.
Oh, they're up to 16? Oh, so it's only fairly new phones. Oh.
I just got mine repaired, I was almost late today because mine broke down.
Oh,
They replaced
interesting.
it, because I had that
Do
warranty,
you
so
have,
they
you know,
replaced it
Yeah.
with the identical.
Yeah.
But I need a new phone.
So you're considering the dark
So you could consider
side.
going to Apple and seeing,
I know.
it's actually not a bad thing.
Well, we get Randy
Yeah.
to teach us how to use it, and Karen, so there you go. Right? Have an Apple
I
lesson.
like that I can start something on my iPhone and continue it on my iPad and go to my laptop
I
and
just-
finish it.
I just like the fact that it took the whole Starlink out of the, as far as View the Bay was
Yeah.
concerned, because that's where we were headed, and I
Mhm.
just, Elon Musk is not my favorite guy, that's
I
not
agree.
He's just not my favorite guy, so I just didn't want to support
Mhm.
his craziness, and so I'm really glad that I didn't have to go that way, because we were seriously concerned.
Well, it's good that somebody's thinking of this stuff, you
Yeah,
know,
no, exactly,
yeah.
And they did it, and their rollout was
Mhm.
successful.
I think so.
So,
Awesome.
and thank you for sharing that, it just occurred to me as I'm looking at the thing. So we determined December's meeting, but did we, or do we need to yet determine when our regular now monthly meeting is?
Well, I
gonna be
think
at
it probably just depends on everybody's schedule.
So just do it.
Is that okay,
Just do it.
Gina, just to,
Yeah, do it a couple.
or do we need that in the ordinance to have it?
It would be best to set a standard time.
Okay, okay.
Because we need to have something for the website, the
Yeah.
public we go to.
Well, let's just
to
go
see
ahead and
you guys.
just have it, for the second Monday.
Okay.
Yeah.
It seems like more of the holidays are towards the end of the month.
So that means January 13th?
And then we can change it if we need to.
Right, there you go.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. And I like the fact that we can all just make a decision to all get together because, and we don't all have to be there. It'd be
Uh-huh.
nice if we all could, but if we ever feel like we need, it's just the fact that we've got to make it a formal meeting. It's more than two of us are in the same room,
I know.
which is gonna have to happen, I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Anytime it has to happen, that we need more than two of us in a room, we'll just call an emergency meeting,
Okay.
see who can come, and then she can post it. And then it has to be posted, right?
Yes, good.
Okay,
And recorded.
and then we could do that.
Sounds good. So we've had a lot of discussions, Guy. We have our
I have a
own
lot of great
things
business.
to go. We're just gonna go to meeting. So, public comments, is anybody online? Do you
There's
have a comment?
nobody
I'm sorry.
online.
Nobody's online, okay. Committee comments, who wants to start?
Deb, I think that this was really well, I know you spent a lot of effort
Yeah.
putting this
thank
meeting
you.
together, Joyce, and it was really well done.
Thank you.
I really
Yeah.
appreciated how focused we were.
Good, thank you. All righty, Kathy.
And thank you very much. I sing comments and I do have to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you.
That's today.
Happy birthday.
Need to write it down, now I'll know.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Oh, my
I had such an exciting day, Dennis and I, on my car, it says, you need to change your oil, so we went and changed my oil this morning. We went
I've
to
heard
the
it called
bank,
a lot
we
of
went
things,
and got
but I've
gas.
never heard it called that.
And so, but we're going out to eat tonight, so that'll be good.
Good.
Yeah, so it's, you know, when you reach my age, it's so long as it's my birthday, you know.
Oh,
You know,
not
but it's-
everybody gets them, so.
I'm sorry?
Not everybody gets them, so.
I know, but I'm glad to
Congratulations.
have one, thank you.
Good for celebration.
All right, Karen, any thoughts?
I just want to piggyback on what everybody else said
Oh,
too.
thank you.
Thank you for all your hard work. This was a
Well,
great meeting, I think
we're
accomplished a lot.
On a roll here.
Yeah, I do too, and I appreciate the fact that people are willing to dig in and do assignments and what we need for. I appreciate that. Randy, thoughts?
Yeah, the same, just
Okay.
feels like we're on a roll and that, thanks again for your leadership.
Oh, you're
Yes.
welcome, Randy. Good. You know, and I decided to leave city council so I could spend more time trying to figure out what to do here, because doing both is a lot, you know, it's doable, but if I can spend more time or coordinate this, that would be fine. So I have a couple of things. I've been kind of like spying on our sister cities. You know, I've already talked to Cannon Beach and I've talked to Lincoln City, and I'll talk about that next meeting, and also Seaside. And Seaside and all three of those cities have full-time people that do what we're doing. And I know Toledo also has full-time people. So I looked at their, they have full-time city people that do this. So I looked at their, they didn't really have, whether their agenda for their council meeting mentions emergency preparedness. I don't know what the content was, but that was on their city agenda like we have. But I went to Yahoo's and they really, I mean, they're doing a lot. So this is Emergency Preparedness Committee, and it's Monday, August the 5th. This is the last agenda I saw online, so maybe they just meet every now and then. But their reports is fire department report, this is all emergency preparedness. And they had a fair on the 14th of September, review current list of presenters, status of to-go bag supply, so they're already doing that. Review schedule of workshops, that's what we're talking about we need to do. Review layout of commons, I'm not sure what that is. New business, advertise for the fair, newsletter article, they need writers. Volunteer to review Connex supplies and suggest additions and modifications. So I'm not sure what that all means.
Connex is their cash
Mhm.
storage thing in the
To
commons.
review supplies and suggest additional and modifications. And South Connex, move and replace. And wayfinding to Connex, I'm not sure what that means, but it looks like we're sort of on the same mind with them, with that. I also, as you know, we've had all these poor people that have lost everything in these hurricanes, and especially Helene. And so I saw a news article about, this is a Fox News article on the 10th, October the 22nd. And it says Hurricane Helene forces North Carolina's residents to sleep in tents where homes once stood. More than 50 people remain missing. It goes, and I can share this with you if you'd like it, but it goes through different articles. I didn't copy it off because I didn't want all the pictures. One point in this article is North Carolina family that lost 11 in Hurricane Helene says the community sacrificed life and limb to save each other. Hurricane Helene, backbone of America, helping farmers across the nation. Retired North Carolina police officer delivers thousands of dollars in supplies. Volunteer donators donated several tents. Puppies rescued from Hurricane Helene to be rehomed with military first responders. Hurricane effects pose tremendous health hazards. And I'm just saying, this is what Deb brought up a long time ago about these people didn't see this coming either. Even that son, that's okay. They didn't. We have more luck because we know about, thank you so much, because we know about this crazy subduction zone. They didn't have caches, they didn't have plans, doubt they had much food or water or anything like that. FEMA wasn't helping them. FEMA's not helping them. So it happened on the 27th of September, and they're finding ways to help each other. And I heard there were crews from West Virginia that were coming in to build roads so they can come out. So my whole point is, as Deb said, people will help each other. You're not hearing about people shooting people up and murdering each other for food and stuff like that.
That's right.
So I just thought that was refreshing to see that at least we sort of have a plan, putting some things into place.
Right. And then letting people know that they need to have a plan.
That's right. And I doubt seriously if people did.
Right. We were lucky, we had our HOA meeting was this last Saturday, and part of it was the Aware and Prepared committee on it to do a presentation about, and the people's response, or people were really bought into the conversation, and it was all because we could dovetail in on what you just said. And so I'm sad that all of those things have happened, but it does get people's attention. and then they realize, okay, so what do I need to
Mhm,
do? So, yeah, there's
Yeah,
gonna be more, this isn't the
Yeah.
last event.
but, there, people from different states are coming in to help them out, and
That's right.
neighbors are helping neighbors, and things like that, because it's the same type of, exactly the same type of thing we're gonna go through. They did have the earthquake, and that's an additional issue that we have, but, whoever has a place to come in, your house is floated down the river, come stay with us. Anyways, interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
So, any other comments? Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Gina, appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Yep.